Good evening, all. Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with the September Q&A responses. I've got to say, lots of good questions that here continue to roll in. Thank you all very much for contributing. Excuse me. And let's go and get right to it. Andrew Lieb and Treyman 1993 kick it off. Good to see you gentlemen here. Sorry, I had some indigestion there, and I apologize. Do you wish to see 1309's debut in excursion service later this year? Absolutely yes. Uh, I was there in 2017 when they were just starting on everything, and of course when 734 was retired from excursion service. Uh, I'm really looking forward to seeing the last Baldwin continue to ride the rails on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad. So thank you for your question. There's a side note in there for you guys if you'd like to read it. That is in there for your enjoyment. Trainman 1993 comes back in with a few questions. Mozzarella sticks or fried pickles? I have to say I love both. For fried pickles, go to Hooters. Mozzarella sticks, they're a little bit different everywhere you go, but Hooters has got some good ones. Trying to think who else has got good ones. Uh, Most anywhere is pretty darn good. As long as they have mozzarella cheese on that's real good and hot and marinara sauce, you're in business. The SD38 or the GB40-2, I actually like both because the SD38 is not too awfully talked about. I happen to have a model of one on my HO scale fleet. That's my 3811 for most of you have seen. I did a couple videos on that last year, so if you haven't looked at those, please give them a look. Favorite music, oh, I also love the GB40-2 as well. Favorite music, I have lots of different favorite genres. I love mostly the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, a little bit of 90s, and a little bit of now. But one of my all-time favorite genres, country music. Like with Alan Jackson, Reba McEntire, uh, Carrie Underwood, Brad Paisley, Kelsey Ballerini, and some of the newer artists, and Chase Rice, just to name a few artists that are out there that are pretty good. U33C or the C40-8, C40-8 for the win. Now the Ohio Central or the Wheeling and Lake Erie or the W&LE. They're both pretty cool railroads. I've wanted to learn a lot more about those two railroads as well. So thank you too for your questions. Steve Insane Rail Fan Productions. It has been a hot minute. Great to see you, buddy. Um, which movie franchise do you like better? Out of the ones I'm most familiar with, I'm familiar with all three of them, but Star Trek because I saw the original series from the late '60s, early '70s. I have seen that, and plus I did read a couple of the Harry Potter books in when I was in school. But like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, I knew they were out there. I just never watched them. But uh, but Star Wars is actually a pretty darn good. I've watched a little bit of episode 3, and I think I watched a little bit of episode 2. But it's when I was extremely young, so I don't remember. What do you plan to come into Tweetsy? I don't know. Allowing a couple different things, work and family. Just hopefully I'll be able to come up there at some point. What state do you want a rail fan in the most? And he has a few options here for me to choose. I have done a little bit in Tennessee when I was younger. I have done Pennsylvania and West Virginia, but I would really love to go back to Pennsy for the Horseshoe Curve and also West Virginia for Harper's Ferry. Have not done Harper's Ferry in a hot minute. Um, so, and Ohio, I would really love to go out there as well. So I'd love to visit all four of those states. Um, so his next question, NKP 765 or the Pearl Marquis 1225, both of them. I love both of them. Now the Great Northern or the Southern Pacific, Southern Pacific. So great to see you again, buddy. Hope you're doing well, man. Great to see you back up here. Stephen Casey Railpin comes back with some more questions. Great to see you, my man. The M5 or the RS3L, two of my all-time favorite horns. Now the UP 1111 or the 1979. I like the 1111 a little bit better because they've got the pictures of the employees up there. Really, really artistic features of that engine and was well done by Union Pacific employees. You prefer small, medium, or large sized dogs? Ooh, I love dogs in general. Dogs are friendly and they look beautiful, like a black lab, a German Shepherd, one of my favorites. Um, Yellow lab, even a dachshund's real pretty. Favorite ATSF era? Hmm. I like early ATSF from like the 50s and the 60s, and even through the 90s, the last era that they were around, uh, when they brought back the ATSF warp on it. The red and silver scheme, as a matter of fact, with 1990 with the GB60Ms, then the SD75s, B40-AW, C40-AWs, and even the Dash 9s. Um, Fries or potato salad? I like both. Thoughts on tangent scale model trains? I've heard of tangent a little bit, but I'm not enough to say that I'm really. I've never had them. Um, oh man, this is a good question. Favorite scenes in There Goes a Train? Oh, good lord, Lot, lots of good scenes. I love the scene where Dave's explaining the how a locomotive works, and even when he collects the tickets, or even the dining scene is so funny. I crack up every time, red in the face. But those whole scenes were like literally the best defining moments. Like when he says burger in his Italian accent. Oh man, I love the movie. I love There Goes a Train. I still watch it, and I'm 25 years old. So yeah. Uh, Long live There Goes a Train, guys. If you have not seen that video, please watch it. You will love it again and again. It's some scenes in there that you will never see again. I will say that. So, really good question, Steve. Thank you. UP Challenger or the CNO Allegheny? I love both of them. Favorite thing about Athearn trains? Really good question. I love Athearn and Athearn Genesis because of their details, their crisp paint jobs, and even their sound files for the Genesis series. I've always been really impressed with Athearn Genesis with that, and even the cab interiors are well done with Athearn Genesis locomotives. Which pizza chain makes the best pizza in your area? Hmm. Around in my area, we've got Domino's, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, out of like a regular chain. Um, let's see, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's. They're the three chain, and Little Caesars number four. I go to Papa John's and Pizza Hut the most. Used to go to Domino's once in a blue moon, and Little Caesars not so much. But with me, my top two out of chain, actually my top three of the four out of the chains, Pizza Hut, Domino's, and Papa John's. They're the top three of the four. Cookies or cupcakes? Ooh. Yeah, I love cookies and milk, but when it comes to birthday parties, cupcakes are the win. Iowa Interstate or the Alaska? I actually prefer the Alaska. The Alaska Railroad's really cool. Which Amtrak's 50th anniversary is your favorite? The 100 and the 108. I've looked at the others. The 161 is really pretty as well. That was a they copied the Phase One Heritage Unit, which looked really pretty. The one they did of the Pepsi can was not bad, but I wish the Pepsi can was on a Dash AW. That's the only problem I have with that one. But all of them look really pretty. But the 100 and the 108 are the two that stand out the most because it's like the midnight blue is what I really like about the 100. Um, do you like the TV show Big Bang Theory? No, it's not my favorite. Now, Walters or Exact Rail? Gotta go Walters because Walters I'm more familiar with. Exact Rail, I only have one piece, and Exact Rail makes a pretty good product. Now, the SD45 or the SD60, I love both of them. CN-8M or the CP SD40-2Fs. Dash 8M on this one. Uh, Now, favorite Rock Island paint schemes, um, the red and the black, and I also like the bankruptcy blue paint scheme. It stands out to me. But Rock Island was a really cool railroad. I love seeing Route Rock. Do you have any least favorite UP locomotives? The SD59 was not my favorite, but most of their engines I really like the AC6000s. I know a few of them. I think I've been floating around a little bit. The Dash 8 standard cabs, I think they still have a few of those left. Their 60Ms, I still love those. The 60s. But my least favorite locomotive, ST59 and the Tier 4 EMD. Not a huge fan of it. Now, old or the new Ferromex paint scheme, the new one is not bad, but I prefer the old one. The old one to me was better, but the new one almost has the speed lettering from like the Southern Pacific and the Rio Grande era. So they kind of put those two paint schemes almost together, in my opinion. But the older paint scheme is what they definitely nailed. So thank you, sir, for your questions. Great to see you. Let's see, JJM3 Rail Fanner Productions and Train Productions by I Love SD7035. We got a new user on, guys. Great to see you guys. Um, how many heritage units have you seen? Well, it depends on the railroad. For Amtrak, I've only seen two. The 130, actually three. The 184 and the 42, the Vets unit. I've not seen the 50th anniversary units yet. But for NS, I've seen 19 of 20. The last one I need is the Central of Georgia, and that's the only one. The CSX Spirit units, I don't keep track of those. But the special interest units on NS, I've seen all three ST60Es. I've also seen 4000, 4001, and 2. I still need to get 4003, 4, and 5. So I've seen a bunch of those. Uh, and I'm very blessed to get them. Have you ever seen the Bay Coast Railroad? As a matter of fact, it went through uh, a city not too far from me, and the Bay Coast actually folded in 2018. And that branch that they once owned and operated, is now owned and operated by the Buckingham branch. And I have seen Buckingham branch operate on that line recently. And Train Productions of I Love SD70 Ace 35 just actually asked the question I just answered. The missing heritage unit is the 8101, the Central of Georgia. That's the last one I need. So, King of Love Train comes in, and he asked, have you ever seen the Culpers and Toltec Scenic Railroad? I have seen videos of it. That's a really, really pretty scenic railroad. And favorite ice cream? Well, it depends. I like this question. It just depends. I'm an all-time vanilla ice cream guy. I also like Neapolitan, and I also like several other ice cream flavors as well, like peach ice cream, cookies and cream. But I love a DQ Blizzard. Oh my goodness! If you put a DQ Blizzard in my face, I would literally eat it within 15 minutes. I love DQ Blizzards. They are literally they're the kings of ice cream, in my opinion. I love DQ with all my heart. I really do. So thank you, sir, for your questions. Take username comes in with a pretty big list of questions. We're going to hold that one for part two. So part one has been concluded. Part two is well underway. All right. We will see you in part two.